Good morning, all of you. I'm Mrs. Rushali Chaudhary, lecturer, Praveen Patil Polytechnic. We are going to start with Applied Science Chemistry, Chapter 2, Metallurgy. What is the metallurgy? The process of extraction of metal from the ore is called as metallurgy. We are going to remove out impurity, other matter, or the metallic oxide and make it pure metal, that is called as a metallurgy. Earlier we already learned iron metallurgy, how to convert iron oxide, iron ore into the pure metal. Today we are going to start extraction copper metallurgy, that is called as a extraction of copper. Why we require the copper? Copper is basically required for making a electrical parts, for making the PCBs, as copper is one of the best conductor of electricity. Gold and silver are also good conductor or best conductor of electricity, but they are costly. Therefore, we are using for make copper for making a electrical circuits. So in this today's lecture, we are going to learn how the copper is extracted. How the copper is extracted from ore. Before that, we will learn what are the ores present in the nature. What is meaning of the ores? A impure form of the metal oxide which is naturally occurring in a earth surface is called as ores. Oxide. Copper is available in form of oxide and the sulfide forms. First ore is called as a cuprite, formula is Cu2O. Tenorite, CuO, malachite, CuCO3, CuOH twice. These are the ores of oxide, ores of copper, which is are the naturally occurring. Along with that, sulfide ores are also present of copper. They are called as chalcolite to tennanite, Cu2S to CuAsS3. So these are the naturally occurring form. From this we are going to remove pure copper. Along this metal oxide and copper oxide, copper sulfide, other impurities like the iron, aluminum, sulfur, magnesium also present in the copper ore. First we are removing that impurity, then after we are reducing copper oxide into the pure copper. First process for the extraction is concentration. What is the concentration? The process of removing impurity from the ore is called as concentration. Concentration is carried out by the two ways: physical concentration based on removing physical impurities or the physical property of impurities, that is called as a Froth flotation. For copper sulfide ores, we are using the Froth flotation process for the concentration for the removal of impurities. What happens in the Froth flotation? We are mixing ore powder with pine oil and water, and we are stirring continuously with a compressed air. As there is stirring take place, it is going to form a froth, that is going to form a bubbles, and these bubbles only attach to the sulfide ores, and these bubbles are the lighter than the water particles or the impurities, so it is going to float on the surface. So sulfide ore will be floating on the surface, while impurities, that is the blackish color powder, that is gangue, is settled at the bottom of the tank. In the flotation process, the powder ore is mixed with the paraffin oil or the pine oil, due to which copper particles sulfide ore is going to attach to the froth. When jet of air is forced up through the bath, The water repellent copper minerals particles are picked up by the bubbles of foam. They are going to float on the surface, making a froth. The unwanted waste gangue falls to the bottom and is removed. The froth is skimmed off from the surface and it is a good source of a copper mineral. We are going to take a froth and that is a good source of copper mineral, while the other impurities other metal, that is a gangue, is separated at the bottom. After that we are going to perform the chemical concentration. In this there are two techniques, that is called as a roasting and what is the roasting? The process at which the ore is heated in presence of air below its melting point. It's called as roasting. The process of heating ore in presence of oxygen is called as roasting. When we are heating in presence of oxygen, sulfur is going to convert into sulfur dioxide and impurity like arsenous, antimony are also converted to the arsenic oxide, antimony oxide, which is volatile oxide which is evaporate easily. So in a roasting process, the ore CuFeS2 is added by the oxygen and it is converted to the Cu2s FeS SO2. Sulfur is converted to sulfur dioxide, which is a gaseous form and which is going to evaporate. The chemical concentration. These are the reaction take place in a chemical concentration. Roasting oxidizes FeS to FeO but leaves copper sulfate unreacted. Heating in a sand converts FeO, that is the iron oxide, into the slag called as a molten slag FeSiO3. So FeO react with the silica to form a slag, while cuprous sulfide is converted to copper sulfide. Again it is converted to the cuprous oxide. Then during the final smelting process, cuprous sulfide is converted to the cuprous oxide by roasting in air and these both react to form a copper. Cuprous sulfide, cuprous oxide react with each other at a high temperature and converted into the copper metal, and sulfur dioxide is converted into the gaseous state. It is get removed in the smelting process. The reduction is take place by the smelting process. What is the smelting process, or what is the reduction in which we are going to remove out oxide? In this, ore concentrated is heated above the melting point and it is going to separate out the matte or separate out the pure metal. Input of the process means raw material of this process is ore, flux, fuel and air. And after this process we will get copper metal impurities, that is called as a slag, and the waste gases. When metal is separated as a sulfide from smelting of ore, it is called as a matte smelting. Means after reduction we will get the copper matte. When metal is separated as liquid, it is called as a reduction smelting. The additive and the fluxes serves to convert the waste and the gangue material in the charge into the low melting point slag, which is also dissolves the coke ash and removes sulfur. Then after we have carried out the basimerization. What is the basimerization? This process in which we are avoiding using a steel container, which is a line with clay and or dolomite. The capacity of the converter is 3 to 30 tenths of a molten iron. The key principle is to remove the impurities from the iron by the oxidation of air being blown down through the molten iron. The oxidation process removes impurities such as silicon, manganese, carbon as oxide. These oxides either escape or the gas or form of solid slag. The oxidation also raises the temperature of the iron mass and keep it molten. The refractory lining of the converter also plays the role in this conversion. The clay lining is used in the basimerization, which is having a low phosphorus in the raw material. Dolomite, limestone, magnesite are also used when the phosphorus content is high in a basic basimer. Thank you for your attention. If you have any doubt, you can mail me on prprushali@gmail.com.